Hey guys, welcome to Beer Tour in Seoul. My name is John and today I will be looking at Korean beer called the Seoul Forest. Seoul Forest, it's a Pilsner style. Pilsner is a type of beer that uses a specific fermentation process and it's called the bottom fermentation processes. And it's mainly produced at Seoul. Well, when we think about bottom fermentation, most of people would refer to a lager style beer. Yes, lager is one of the type of beer that uses the bottom fermentation, but it's quite different than the Pilsner. Well, as the simplicity of the lager, we can all sit back and enjoy. Sure, of course. Until we realize that there's such thing as Pilsner. Pilsner, it really gets weird because it's like kind of a lager. So what actually differentiates the two, lager and Pilsner? The lager is a type of beer that you would usually drink the most of. From Budweiser, Miller, Coors Light, the big names. Yes, those are all lagers. Even though the lagers make the majority of the worst beers, but they are also the ones that we tend to drink the more ton of. So if we rewind the time back a little bit, there was a spoil leakage. There's a long story how the Pilsner was found. There was a spoil problem. They had a lot of beers and there was no way to count up the beers. There was a spoil, and this guy named Joseph Grohl came up with a solution to the beer, was adding the sass hop. By adding the sass hops, not only it provides enough antioxidants properties to maintain the freshness of the beer and prolongs the expiry dates of all the aspects of the beer, especially the quality are preserved. Sass hops provide a spice to the taste, and they also have a kick to them. A little bit harder bite than the feelings that you would feel from the lagers. So it's named. People refer to sass hops as a noble hop in a good way, because with their bursting flavors, bringing some earthiness as well with that spicy. So it's, in a way, basically Pilsner is a corrected lager. As simple as that. So let's take a look at the sours of the Seoul Forest Pilsner. 5.6% alcohol. Oh, 5.3% alcohol actually. So as the name suggests, Forest, the can label is entirely in green. And as you can, if you look closer to the can, there's a picture of the hop. Like I mentioned, one of the distinctive features and the characteristic of the Pilsner is that they use the sass hop. So I think that's what they're trying to emphasize here. And I don't know, I've been to the Seoul Forest once. I never saw a deer before, but there's a picture of a deer. There's definitely a rabbit, but I've never seen the deer before. Well, entirely the label is the Forest. So now let's take a look inside. So a lot of foams are definitely accumulated as I pour the beer in the glass. The color is bright, like a sunlight bright gold, and I smell bitterness already caramelized, and a little bit of scent from the pine needles. It's definitely a thirst quenching moment when you're sniffing off from the top of the liquid. From the smell, it's quite delicious already. And the taste now, bready, nutty, mostly nutty, bready. Towards the end taste, there's a bitterness, that quenching thirst moment there, and there's a little bit of spice. The spiciness is definitely there. It's just like the description. There is a harder bite than that of the normal lager beers. Well, unlike the Pilsners that are from the the Pilsner, the original, the origin, I mean. This Seoul Forest Pilsner, 5.3% alcohol, is heavily carbonated, for sure. The spiciness, yes, and the refreshingness. I think the refreshingness here is a little bit more emphasized than how the regular Pilsner should taste like. Other than that, it's all good. It's that strong bitterness is still ongoing in my mouth at the end of my tongue. I mean, the inner part of my tongue. It's good. It's good beer. So the bottom fermentation processed beer, a Pilsner, you can get confused with lager, but there is a specific distinctive characteristic of Pilsner. So it's just that simply there's been put of specialized hops, sass hops, that brings a spiciness of the beer. This Seoul Forest, there's definitely a spice to it. Strong, bitter, ongoing end taste. I still feel the bitterness in my mouth. And when you sniff it on top of the beer, the liquid, before you have a sip, it makes you thirst. And as you drink it, it's thirst quenching, refreshing, heavily carbonated. Overall, it's a drinkable beer. And as to the people who know about Pilsner, they refer Pilsner as corrected lager. And I definitely agree with that. Lager is just too simple, it's boring, but it's refreshing, enjoyable, sure. Just easy drink, but this is a better choice I would have than those regular mass-produced lager beers that are out there. So overall, in the taste and the quality and everything, that's this Seoul Forest beer by Amazing Brewery, I would give a 4.1 out of 5. Although this is a good Pilsner duplication. I don't want to say duplication, but it's Pilsner style, but they try to make it into their own style, sure. But I think these carbonated parts and the too much emphasis on the refreshingness had a little bit pulled off the entire characteristic of the Pilsner. So it's definitely one of the kind. I think they try to do that, and they successfully have created their own style of Pilsner. But we know the standard taste of the Pilsner, yes? So I would give 4.1. It's another tasty Pilsner, sure. But from that expectation of what we were supposed to taste from our thoughts before having a sip, I think it just has been drifted a little bit to the wrong side of the road. It's simply just too much carbonated and refreshingness emphasized. So that emphasis on the refreshingness had kind of, buried parts of the characteristic of the Pilsner, which is fine, but this is their type of Pilsner by the Amazing Brewery. And overall, it's good beer. Food pairing is also important. I would say a sweet desserts would definitely go well with this beer, because that bitterness is quite ongoing for a long time. So sweetness can help to digest, kind of smooth out that bitterness inside of your mouth if you feel unpleasant with that. So go for the chocolates or sweet cheesecakes. Will definitely go well with this Seoul Forest Pilsner. Well, thank you again for watching my video, and please do subscribe to my channel and like this video. I will come back with another interesting beer from South Korea. This was Jonathan, and bye bye.